Taylor Swift with the man. My guest of the day is on the phone.
94.3.
This is Good Morning Mumbai with Hrishi K.
One of the loveliest, most luminous people I know, Shibani Dandekar, is my guest now. What's up, yo?
What's up, Hrishi K? Thank you so much. What a lovely introduction. Happy to be here. Happy to be passing some time during this never-ending lockdown.
You know, as journalists, as radio presenters, we see one side of Shibani Dandekar. But how are you holding up in this? I mean, being home, locked down for a prolonged period of time.
Well, I mean, there's different aspects to this, right? I mean, I am inherently quite a lazy girl. So living kind of at home and being on the couch in my sweats has not been such a huge adjustment for me. I think it's just adjusting to why we are locked down, trying to think about the people out there who don't have the privilege of being in a place where they are able to be locked down. It's such a strange time, you know, like you feel as though, okay, you've been given this time to just kind of chill and you're not on the go and you're not constantly working and running from one meeting to another or one shoot to another. So you have the luxury of kind of just being at home, and all you really have to do is occupy your time, whether that's learning to play the piano like I'm doing, or whether you're reading a book, or whether you're in a writer's room for a show, which I'm doing at the moment. There's so many different things that I have, like I'm lucky to be able to do. And there's so much talk about how we should use this time and use it to reflect and really use it to do new things and good things, that you just cannot help but think about the people who are not able to use this time as effective time, downtime that they have. They're like literally trying to figure out how they're going to survive from day to day. So those guilty pangs do happen throughout the day when you feel like, my God, I'm learning a new hobby, you know, and I'm getting the time to kind of sleep in. I get to work out twice a day. I'm attempting to cook and I'm terrible at it. But it's just, you can't help but think about the people who don't have, who aren't, you know, lucky enough to do this. And that makes me feel quite terrible.
Gratitude is something that I've really learned to cultivate in this phase, you know, just gratitude for the small things in life.
More with the lovely Shibani Dandekar up ahead, but only after the Jonas Brothers and their Cool, right here on 94.3 Radio 1 One World, your station. My name is Hrishi K. Ellie Goulding with On My Mind. Shibani Dandekar returns in the very popular second installment of the series Four More Shots Pls. And here she is on the phone with me.
94.3.
This is Good Morning Mumbai with Hrishi K.
So, you know, for a show that's so filled with estrogen, so many girls, and I don't mean just the cast, I mean even the director and the writer.
The crew.
Season 1 was also just the crew, everything. I mean, it's fantastic the number of guys who are enjoying this show. Me, for one, I mean, I ran through the entire season 2 in like one sitting. It was just one of those binge-watching things, you know. I have to say that this one makes more sense to me. The first one, I think there was a lot of pressure on them to be risque. I mean, I'm not complaining about all the lovemaking, but there was a lot of that risque stuff which was just there. But now this is more about the relationships, which I think is really cool.
Yeah.
Is that what drew you to Sushmita and this particular series, the moment, you know, they narrated or send you the bound script?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I'm a huge Sex and the City fan, right? So we know that this is loosely kind of a story of 4 girls based out of Mumbai, and there's a lot of, like, you know, resemblance there, I guess, in a sense. But this is a completely different story, right? And yes, you're right, in the first season, I mean, I'm sure there were a lot of liberties taken in terms of what they wanted to show and how they wanted to show it. But you do go a little bit deeper in season 2, and you've got just the story of 4 women and the substance of their relationships and their lives and the things that they go through. And when I was told about Sushmita's part, number one, it was a really interesting conversation that I had with Rangita, because she was like, listen, there's this part for you, but I feel like it might be a little bit older than you know what you're expecting. And I was like, well, how old is this character? And she was like, she's 41. And I was like, Rangita, I'm 40. It's okay. I'm okay to do it, you know? So it was instantly something that I loved. I kind of thought that Sushmita is somebody who we see so often, you know, this like power broker who is in a relationship of convenience of sorts. And she's somebody who is trying to show face and has this mask on to the world about what her real love life is is actually like. So often we kind of like put things aside, brush things under the carpet, and we go out and face the world as if everything is okay, because that's just what is expected. So there was a lot of that to Sushmita. And obviously you realize that during this showdown that she has, that she's actually just human and that she feels and that she's going through a lot of stuff. So it was a really interesting character for me, and it's something that I've never been able to play before. And I think one of the main things is I've always been given these like NRI friend roles that have never really amounted to anything. You know what I mean? It's like blink and miss and Shibs is gone. And for the first time, this wasn't that. So it was an opportunity for me to also actually do something. So that's why when I spoke to Nupur and Shubham and Trishan, who cast me for this, and also Rongit, I was really grateful for the opportunity to be able to do something. Because I think that's really important as an actor. You want to just not be cast just based on looking a certain part, right? I mean, if I've been hired as an NRI for something, it's because I'm an NRI and because I would be good as playing the friend. But then there needs to be some sort of substance to it, something that you can actually do with it. So I feel like for the first time, I was given something, not very many scenes, but still something to do.
Shibani Dandekar continues as my guest of the day. You guys hang by as I play you some Doha Cat and say so only on 94.3 Radio 1. One World, your station. I'm Hrishi K. Little Mix, the girl group formed in 2011 during the 8th series of the British version of The X Factor. That's one of their best known hits, Shout to My Ex. Actress anchor Shibani Dandekar speaks to me about the super hit series 4 More Shots Pls Season 2 and her life in lockdown.
94.3. This is Good Morning Mumbai with Hrishi K.
I do want to talk about this. It's not a spoiler because the multitudes have seen it. It's been out for a week plus now.
Yeah.
There's a confrontation scene and you're just absolutely stellar in it. I mean, just the fact that you went about the business in a confrontation scene, I mean, it's not a spoiler anymore. Like I said, you're a victim of being cheated upon,
Yeah.
And how Sushmita, the character, reacts to that. And that's something which is hurtful for anybody, man or woman, to be the victim of that in a relationship. So that really is your coup de resistance in the whole series. So talk to me about that. The relationship between Sushmita and her lawyer husband and what it all comes down to.
I think it's just a point where Sushmita kind of, I mean, I've been in situations like this before where you kind of know you're in a relationship and you know something is kind of going on, but you choose to maybe look the other way or maybe convince yourself that it's not going on. And then when it kind of all comes to, breaking point and reaches a place where you just can't ignore it anymore. And that moment where Sushmita walks in and she sees it firsthand, it's like everything that you have, like all this pent up, built up stuff that you've been bottling, it just kind of unleashes. And for me, my approach to that was more just letting it happen, because I knew the dialogue was there. I knew that I had a base to work off, but it was really more about just what you feel in that moment. Because these kinds of things, when you're fighting with somebody, you feed off so much of what they're saying and how they're saying it and what their reaction is. So it was actually really funny because Sam and I are so used to doing the whole hello and welcome to extra innings and match 64, and so for us to be standing there and having this massive argument was a complete 180 for the two of us. But we didn't talk about it beforehand. We didn't rehearse it. We just kind of went with it. And as the scene starts, I kind of enter the room. So the minute I enter the room, Sam and I just kind of went for it. And at the end of the scene, I'm supposed to just kind of exit. So when I exited the first time, there was just silence on the set. And because I'm also just so new at this, I thought, oh Jesus, was it not good? Is it just silence? This silence is not good. And as it turns out, it had quite an impact even on, the people that were watching there in person. And it's so funny how when you are standing with someone that you have known for years and having this like massive blowout argument where you are, yes, you're sticking to the script, but then you're also like, there's so much impromptu stuff happening. And it's like your history with each other goes flying out the window. Suddenly you're standing there and you are Shashank and Sushmita. And I think that so many of us women and men as well have been through this moment. It's just that a lot of the times you have this moment in private behind closed doors. So to be able to just unleash this frustration that Sushmita had was a really nice moment for me to kind of live. I know that sounds weird, but it was.
I have so many powerful women friends who've achieved a certain amount of success in their corporate lifestyle. They're in the law and this and that. But at the end of the day, in relationships, they're just, they could be teenage or adolescent girls, who just want to come back to their man, to wherever they are, and just feed off that honesty. And at that point, you really feel that maybe all Sushmita wants is honesty in a relationship. And the deceit of it is what really gets to her.
Yeah, I think that there are sometimes so many things said in relationships that are kind of unspoken. So did Shashank and Sushmita have an open relationship? Was he being honest about that? Did she actually know that in words? Was it a discussion? Or was it something that was kind of just assumed between the two of them? But then when it comes to the forefront, how somebody reacts to that when they know that, okay, now he is actually living this open relationship. When that hits home, it's painful. Look, as strong as we are and as much of a front as we put on and as brave as we can be, working hard, like powerful at the companies that we work at, still human beings. We still feel the things that we feel, and women go through these emotions all the time. It doesn't matter what walk of life you're from. And it's not just women, it's men as well. But in a relationship, these are such delicate things to handle, because these days there are so many different types of relationships. Everyone is making their own rules. There are different formulas. So in our case with Shashank and Sushmita, obviously it wasn't as rosy as what they were trying to portray. But I think Sushmita realized that there were so many things just kind of falling apart in that moment.
The drama in Four More Shots Pls Season 2. Shibani Dandekar, who's a primary part of the show, speaks to me. More to come. I'm Hrishi K, and this is 94.3 Radio on One World, your station. Here's that Rob Thomas Santana hit Smooth. Groove Jet, what a groovy song. Spiller with Sophie Ellis Bextor on vocals. Shibani Dandekar joins Manvi Gagru, Kirti Kulhari, Bani J, Shaini Gupta and Sam Kocha in Season 2 of Four More Shots Pls. Here she is chatting with me.
94.3. This is Good Morning Mumbai with Hrishi K.
So I know that Sam and you know each other from before because you've been colleagues, you worked before. Was it Udaipur that you were filming?
Yeah, it was Udaipur.
How are the girls? I mean, who did you get along with in that set? They're also such diverse characters.
Yeah, and when you walk onto a set after a season of this already happening, you kind of feel like, oh God, you're like the newcomer.
Those bonds are established.
Established, and not just established on the show, but established in the business, and this is relatively new for me. So, but they were just so lovely. And, there are so many things said about so many women on one set and how kind of intimidating that can be, but everybody was just really warm and lovely. Manvi and I probably got along the best, like house on fire. I remember her coming to my room and chatting with me about scenes. Shayani and I, the same. Yeah, she also came and spoke to me about scenes. So it was really nice. It just felt like because we were all in the same hotel for a week, we kind of just hung out quite a bit, even after we finished shooting. Obviously, Sam and I know each other from before. Kirti, I just actually met. We'd never met before. So it was really lucky to meet her. She's such an awesome person. And Bani and I had done I Can Do That Together, a reality show a couple of years ago. So we already knew each other from that. Lisa, I had also just met. It was actually just so lovely, to be in such a supportive, lovely environment. And everyone was just really into what they were doing and into the characters and into just getting it to be as good as it can be. Yeah, it was just really fun. We faced some issues with rain during the one wedding scene where we had to do outdoors. There was like downpour. Then Nupur, the director, hurt her ankle, so she was being pushed around in a wheelchair while there was rain. It was quite eventful, but it was a lot of fun. I'd love to do it again.
So just some trivia. I don't know, you didn't grow up in India, but Nupur used to direct this show. I mean, we all grew up to that gig. It was called Hip Hip Hooray. And, it was quite a cult show at the time. It was a show about, high school and school, much before Student of the Year and what Karan was doing and things like that. Your experience of working with Nupur, I mean, she just disappeared for the longest time and she's come back.
She was fabulous. She was actually there. We first met the day, so I did the audition for Sushmita, and then when they called me back, Nupur wanted to kind of just run through a scene. I met her there for the first time, and we had finished doing the scene, and I was kind of quiet at that point, except when I was doing the scene. I didn't, you don't want to walk into a casting office and be all like, oh my God, hi. So you just kind of do your bit and you exit. But as I was leaving, she started cheering and I heard. So I turned around and she kept quiet. So I thought, oh, maybe I've got it. I don't know. So that was my first experience. That was my kind of first experience with her. But she was amazing. She let me really go for it. You know, she spoke to me about the scene, but especially with that confrontation scene, she just let me go for it. She just said, you just do what you're feeling and then let's go from there. And that really worked. The scene where we kind of, where Kirti and I speak after that, where Anjana and I speak after that, she was beautiful during that scene because she knew exactly where to kind of let me go, pull me in a little bit, just, you know, because the subtlety, the nuances are really needed in that scene. And she kind of really guided me. And also, let's just keep in mind that, you know, it is someone whose Hindi is not my first language, right? So there's so much to also focus on. So when you have a director who kind of gets that and is looking out for all these different things, it really empowers you. It makes you, I'm one of those people who responds to that. Like, I feel like if someone was to like give me a hard time on set and tell me off, I'd kind of freak out a little bit. But she knew exactly how to kind of guide me through it, which was great.
Super series with a super cast, Shibani Dandekar on the Four More Shots Pls experience and more. Right here on 94.3 Radio 1 One World, your station. My name is Hrishi K and here's one of L. Biebs, aka Justin Bieber's best known hits, Company. I'm a massive Pink fan and why wouldn't anyone be a massive Pink fan? Great songstress that's Walk Me Home. COVID-19 has been a great leveler. Stars or no stars, we're all trying to live the new normal. Shibani Dandekar speaks to me. This is what I call the lockdown interview.
94.3. This is Good Morning Mumbai with Hrishi K.
So how are you handling all the essentials and the groceries? Do you do runs twice a week, go out and get them in? Or do you have somebody delivering it downstairs in the building or the house and you go up and bring up the supplies and sanitize it? So how's that happening?
We have like everything that is needed to make sure that everything is properly sanitized. It's left outside the house, sanitized, then comes into the house. Grocery runs generally happen once or twice a week. We go to Bali Market and Food Hall, gloves, mask, shower as soon as we get home. Yeah, we're just trying to, I mean, you know, we've tried to like be as mindful as we can in terms of you want to stock up, but not stock up to the point where you don't leave anything for anybody else, but you stock up enough so that you don't have to make regular trips so that not everybody is also out at the same time. So stock up on the things that you can, but not in a crazy way. So, you know, that's also been a learning process. I tried to be mindful of that. But yeah, we've kind of fallen into a rhythm as to how that works. Yeah.
Yeah, and I
also got a new puppy.
Yeah, I saw some pictures. So the earlier one is Tyson, isn't it?
No, the earlier one is Jimmy.
Jimmy, okay. And this one's
Tyson. And the new one is Tyson. Tyson is a girl, although we've given her the name Tyson, which confuses the hell out of everyone, which I love. We found her at GTC, which is a place where Farhan was shooting and training for Tufan. They have like a boxing setup over there. So there were a bunch of like stray puppies and dogs, stray dogs actually, and they had a huge litter. And one by one, people started taking a pup from the new litter, which is great. And there were 3 little girls left. And for 3 days, just before the lockdown, we were going there to train. And every day I kept saying to him, we've got to take one. And on the last day, believe it or not, a day or 2 before the lockdown, as he was walking out, I said to him, can we please? And he was like, if you're going to do it, you need to pick her up right now. Because it's one of those things that you have to just make that decision. You can't prolong the decision. So we just kind of picked her up and we took her home just 2 days before the lockdown. So she's just been driving us mental for the entire time we've been at home. I can hear her crying out. So yeah.
And you're braving the whole kitchen routine. I mean, I noticed that you were on the phone with Kelvin. Oh, I miss his food. Anyway, so
I know.
And getting some baking done and getting some cooking done. So good. You know, you're using it to add to your skill set, as it were. Awesome.
I am. And I think that Sunita, you know, who lives here with us, she is the best because she's so supportive, although she knows that I cannot cook for shit. She is the only one who will eat my cookies and be like, I love them. I think they're great. But look, you can be friends with all the chefs you want. Kelvin is like one of my closest friends, but even he cannot help me. I've tried and I will continue to try, but it's just one of those things I feel like you have the skill or you don't. I get really flustered in the kitchen. It's a real, once the gas comes on and the garlic is burning and there's just so much happening, it's nothing but respect to people who can cook, really. So I'm an eater. I eat food.
There are the eaters and the cookers.
Exactly.
I know which side I am. I'm glad you're on that side. How are the folks and the sisters doing? I always worry for senior citizens. My parents used to work in Mumbai. They retired and they moved down south. And, you're always worried saying, how are they getting their supplies? Are they healthy and things like that? So are the video calls happening with the folks, with the sisters, just keeping in touch? Yeah.
Yeah, they are. We video call quite often, and it's crazy because this time has really allowed you to stay in touch with people better. Mum and Dad was supposed to fly back to Australia actually the week that this happened and couldn't get flights out, which I feel in a way is a blessing because at least they're in the same time zone. They're in Pune, but at least, we can kind of speak and check in on them. Mum is doing, I think, grocery runs once a week. But yeah, apart from that, sisters are good. My sister's at home. She's got her 2 dogs. And then my other sister is with her husband and her dog. So we check in on each other quite a bit.
That's great, else the family separation blues can really get to you. Shibani Dandekar in the house, home stretch of this chat with her coming right up. You stay locked on to 94.3 Radio 1 World, your station. I'm Hrishi K playing you the script and superheroes. Boy band fervor, that's 98 degrees with Gimme Just One Night. Last leg of a vibrant interview with a beautiful lady. Shibani Dandekar chats with me.
94.3. This is Good Morning Mumbai with Hrishi K.
What's the first thing you're going to do when the lockdown is lifted? Instinctively, what is that first thing?
I mean, you'd want to just see people that you've missed, I don't know if we'll be able to hug them, but I just, you kind of want to just, I miss my friends, I miss Dino, I miss Monica. My 2 best friends who I used to see all the time, I haven't seen forever, only via video chat. So I think it's about, I don't know, I think there are just so many changes that you kind of want to make, just being mindful of so many things. I know that this sounds all preachy, but I think it's true. I think we've got to start being a little bit, do you think we will though? Do you think we will start being smarter about things, or will we just fall back into old patterns? I don't know.
I start with pessimism and I say, history shows that we fall back into patterns, but I don't even want to continue thinking that way. I'm like, I won't even break my own pessimism now. So
yeah. No, I hear you. It just gives you time to put things into perspective and really think about the things that you can do, even if they're the smallest things, right? Even if they're as just things where you are maybe talking about. I mean, Dia talks so much about this, not just during the lockdown, but she spends so much of her time talking about looking after the planet and not using plastic and, just things that I feel like we can do to make changes, to just make things better. It's almost like the planet has just moved us right out of the way to just heal for a bit before it can take on our crap again. You know what I mean?
So the piano classes are what? Do you take them online? Do you have a tutor, or are you just doing a YouTube kind of lesson? What are you doing?
Yeah, just doing YouTube lessons. So I'm just kind of picking songs that I like to sing and then learning them. And the thing is, when I was learning piano when I was a kid, it was like you had to go to somebody's house who had a piano who would then teach you the notes and then read sheet music. And it was so old school. These days, you download the app and you go onto YouTube and they just teach you the song and you just sing along. So it's like a song a day that you're learning, I love it. It's great. So then Farhan plays the guitar, I play the piano, and we kind of we're ready to take this band on the road.
So I understand that, you're in writer's room, you're writing and things like that. Are you in a position to tell us what that's for, or you want to keep it under wraps, or are you working on
what I will tell you is that I am working with my partners, Gaurav Kapoor and Akanksha Seda, on a web show. We are just in the process of getting that written at the moment. So we're in the writer's room. We have been for the last month and a half. Obviously can't say what it's about, but we're really excited about it. So hopefully by the end of the lockdown, the Bible should be ready and good to go.
And if not anything else, Kapoor must be keeping you entertained. He's such an entertainer.
Oh yeah. He's just he's amazing, our relationship has just grown so much since we started doing the IPL, and now we're partners on this, and it's just been such a absolutely crazy ride. But yeah, he's just hilarious. Between him and Cyrus and Sammy Kocha, I'm just surrounded by funny dudes.
Funny dudes, yeah. Shibani Dandekar, thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Hrishi K. Always an absolute pleasure. And I'm sending you a big, fat virtual hug.
Virtual hug. Cheers.
Hoping to see you really soon. Yes. Lots of love. Bye.
Brian Adams with Open Road, only on 94.3 Radio 1 World, your station. My name is Hrishi K.